Morning, guys. Welcome to the third stream of Breakfast with myself, Lyric Banele. Thank you very much for joining me this morning. It is still cold outside, and make sure that you are dressed warm. Have a cup of coffee, make some soup. Actually, in fact, the day before yesterday, I requested for soup from my girlfriend, and I was surprised yesterday when I went to go see her. She actually had prepared soup, so I didn't eat it though, but I'm gonna enjoy it today. So super excited about that one. But anyway, guys, the time right now is 20 minutes past 9. I'm broadcasting all the way from South Africa, Soweto, Dobsonville. This is where I'm at. And if you want to be part of the show, you're more than welcome to hit me up. And yesterday we were piloting a shoot or a stream, sorry, where we were incorporating calls. And we actually did it in such a way that even if you call in using WhatsApp, whether it's your voice, whether it's video, we can still incorporate you inside this stream. So just recently I started being on TikTok, and man, I feel like I'm a late bloomer. But anyway, I like TikTok so much because it's got this live streaming feature where you can talk to people that you don't even know. So the only thing they need to do is just to request. So I'm trying to build something similar where I can have people request or call in using video or audio, and they can participate in the stream. Right, so I've seen that they can have up to 3 individuals, but personally, I've tested the live stream yesterday with up to 2 people, and it worked. So anyone from wherever you are, you can call in, you can participate in this live stream. So what I then want to do, I think from tomorrow, is to include a WhatsApp number where you can call in just using WhatsApp, nothing complicated. Obviously, we can plug in other platforms like Zoom, Skype, and so on, but I think WhatsApp is more accessible to most individuals. So even if it's just for voice, even if it's video or a combination of the two, we can make that happen. So I'm super excited about that one. And I think, once we have people calling in, it should make the show a little bit more inclusive, because it gets lonely, especially if you're sitting here alone and you're talking to the camera and there's just no feedback. It does get lonely, and you often wonder if whatever you're saying is correct or not. But other than that, I'm looking forward to it. So from tomorrow, I will have a dedicated WhatsApp number where you can call in and make sure that you participate in the stream. All right, guys. So we're going to be obviously talking about what's happening in the country and taking a look at some of the positive vibes that we are seeing outside. Because apart from the looting, there are individuals that want to come together and, restore the country and restore the peace that we once had before this whole thing began. And obviously, I've been having talks with a number of individuals, and this thing has gone way too far because people still think that this is about our former president, but I don't think so. I don't think so. Now, I'm in the Soweto region, as I'd mentioned, and the looting that took place here, well, some do have like mixed feelings about it. Personally, myself also, because I am privileged, that I will say, because I do not know what starvation is. And as I've said in my previous streams, that I've been hungry before, but I don't think I've been impoverished. I don't think I've starved before. There were times when I was growing up where things were tough, like they were really hard at home, but I don't think it was that bad. And come to think of it, some individuals, this is their lifestyle where each and every single day it is bad. Like I remember when we used to have 1 meal a day, and for me I felt that we were fortunate to have a meal a day, because some people don't have that meal, right? So we went through that phase. We got out of it because my dad lost his job, and we were still in high school. And then after high school, I didn't go to varsity. I couldn't do that. My sisters were still in school. So this is a personal story, guys. So my sisters were still in school. So the fact that I just left high school and they were still in school, we used to use the train to travel back then. And the train has its ups and downs. I think the one positive about a train is that, in fact, maybe even two, but the one positive about a train is that it is cheaper, right? So for a monthly ticket, we would spend roughly somewhere around 110 rands per month, and then a weekly ticket should average around about 30 rands per month per week. Sorry. So we used to use the train, and mind you, the train wasn't safe at all. Like I can literally say that the train wasn't safe because there were times when we would take the train in the morning and somewhere in between platforms, it would just stop for no apparent reason. And we would be late, would be late for school. But over and above that, I remember there was a day where we were traveling from school coming back home and the train caught fire. I don't know if someone set the train alight, but either way, the train caught fire. So I'm still in school, and I remember I'm traveling with my young sister. Now, remember, there's four of us, right, that were making use of the train at the time. And so I'm with my youngest sister. So she had recently started high school because when I was in matric, she was in grade 8. Cool. So I'm traveling with her, and I look out the coach, and I look back on the coaches to the back of us, and those coaches had caught fire, right? So I'm just going to paint a scenario of what I think um, it's like to be in lack. But overall, I'm still saying that we were not poor in any way. We were not starved. We were hungry, but we were not really starved. So I look back and I see that those coaches have caught fire. So instinctively, what I do is I throw my bag down on the railway, right, and I'm stepping on these rocks. I take my sister's bag and I help her get off the train, and we then walked to the platform because a lot of people were exiting the train at the time. So we then walked. But then in my mind, I'm like, okay, I'm with my young sister right now. And I'm thinking, my brother, yeah, cool, he's old enough, he can take care of himself. But I also have another sister somewhere on the train, and I'm worried. I'm worried. Mind you, I'm how old was I then? 17, right? So I'm worried I can't see my other sister, but then we make our way to the platform, and because of I think it's a one-way railway. Obviously, trains coming from that railway line from town, obviously there won't be any more trains because they need to move this train that just caught fire just so that it can clear the way for other trains to come through. So we are like 5 or 6 platforms away from where we normally get off. So we had to walk, right? We had to walk. So in my mind, I'm thinking if I had money, we would have probably taken a taxi and get home safely. But what we had to do was we had to follow the railway, walk on those little rocks up until we reached Dube Station, and we then took a detour, which then allowed us to get home. But then I think we got home like 3 hours later, right? So when I exited Matric and I got a job at Jabulani Mall, the mall that was just looted the other day, that was my first job. So I got there, got a job, and I was a waiter at some place. And the first thing I did, I told myself that I do not want my sisters to make use of the train for transportation, right? So I made sure that they, get a kumbi or a bus or for transportation, and they then made use of that. So I was at ease because I knew that I couldn't be there for them in case something happens. Now, this is just one story about the train, but generally every Friday, because we used to exit school at what, 12 p.m., right? Yeah, 12 p.m. So there was a train that used to come from town, and it would pick up a lot of students along the way. So by the time it got to us, the train was full. People were hanging out the doors, windows, some very adventurous on top of the train. So it was a dangerous environment. It really was. I remember this day I almost got mugged inside a train. Luckily, I didn't have anything. No phone, nothing. Didn't even have money. I mean, this guy's like, yo, I need something. Give me something. I'm like, I just have my books. That's it. Like, he even searched me like in front of people and, well, he couldn't find anything, right? Because I didn't have. So I grew up in an environment where it was okay, but not the best. Things are better right now, definitely better at home, and even for the young ones that are coming up. But where I grew up, it wasn't necessarily the best. But I do say this, that I don't think we were impoverished. I don't think we were poor. This is just my personal opinion. Maybe my siblings see it differently, but I don't think we were poor. Even when we had one meal a day, I don't think we were poor. Even when my mom would prepare lunch and I wouldn't want to take it to school because I was afraid that they would laugh at me because I've got pap for lunch at school. You know, she tried her best, but either way, the fact that we still had something to put in our tummies, I don't think we were poor. I don't think we were poor. So this then brings me to the next thing that I want to talk about, which is I believe that some of the Sowetans that were looting, I don't think it's because of poverty. And I say this because the people that I know or that I've seen to be looting, these are the same individuals that we went to school with. These are the same individuals that, things look okay in their homes, right? So I understand the fact that there is unemployment, there is a high rate of people that are not working. I get that, guys, and I do sympathize for individuals that truly want to provide for their families, and some of them even have degrees, diplomas, but they cannot provide for their families, right? I do get that, but I also do believe that there are some individuals with cars, they've got money to put fuel inside a car, drive around, look for opportunities to loot, and they loot. And their excuse is that there's no jobs. I don't believe that. I don't buy that. So for me personally, I think there are individuals that are really, really starving. And it's also disappointing to learn that government as a whole, rather than taking food parcels and giving it to the people that actually need it, the ministers, the councillors, they are the ones that are taking the food parcels for themselves, right? They've got a job, they earn money, good money to make to have a good living, but they take those food parcels for themselves and they channel it to their friends or families, and the individuals that are really, really in need, they end up not getting it. Because if you're hungry, trust me, you can do anything, which leads to looting. So I'm not condoning the people that are looting. I'm also saying that within the numbers of people that were looting, I sincerely believe that there are individuals that were looting, but I don't think they're really impoverished. I know stories from people that are telling me that, hey, there are certain individuals that just refuse to get a job. They get a job and they quit a week later. And if you hear some of their stories, some would say, nah, there's no way I'm going to work for so-and-so. There's a guy that I know worked for my brother, because of some stupid reason, decided to sit down and not work. So right now he's unemployed. So my brother runs a construction company, and from time to time, per project, he gets people to come on board and work in his company. So for certain individuals, they choose to be unemployed because they do not want to have a black person as a boss. That's how prideful they are. That's how proud they are. They do not want to have a black person as a boss, so they would rather prefer to be unemployed, right? Other individuals, they would rather prefer their parents to keep on doing stuff for them, grown, people that have kids but still choose to quit jobs. Some people, I know stories of people that have been roped in because of family, where a friend of mine was telling me that she invited her sister to come work at a company, right? Now, because of her sister is whatever, somehow, the sister chose to work for a month and then she quit afterwards. And her reasons were there's no way that, she's going to work under these conditions and so on. Here's what I'm going to say. For those that have jobs, guys, you know how hard it is. You know how you have to make a silent prayer every morning when you have to wake up. You have to pray that, God, please give me the strength to survive this day. But yet, we do it every single day. Every single day. And then when it comes to when it's month end, obviously, we go to the malls, we spend our money, things are good, and that's when people become somewhat envious, right? But they don't understand that you have to pick yourself up every single morning. I worked at a restaurant where I remember, I'm young, guys, I'm 17, right? But I'm standing and I'm waiting for customers to come in. And there was a time where I could feel my back is like stretching in all directions. So I'm leaning against the wall a little bit just to get like that 1 minute of relief, right? And my manager comes up and says, "No, you shouldn't lean." So I'm standing, my back hurts, right? But every morning I woke up, I went there. I got paid like what? I think it was 1,002 per month, along with tips, but people were not tipping at the time, 2006. Right, so I had to wake up. I'm sorry if this feels like a little rant, but I think I should do that. I had to wake up every single morning. I had to endure the pain, and I was not using any taxis, so I had to walk. So it was like roughly a 40-minute walk to and fro. Sorry, 40 minutes to go there, 40 minutes to come back. But I had to do that. I got another job at a call center. Struggling, I was terrible at sales, but I had to do it every single day because it's as if every day when I went to work, I would die first. I'd first have to die, make a prayer, and then go through it, get paid, and then live next month, and so on and so on. But, deep down, I knew that this isn't what I wanted. This isn't what I wanted. So, just like any other young person that feels like the future is theirs, I quit. But with me quitting, I didn't quit just to sit at home. I quit and I looked for something else. Even though they do call us corporate whores, but it's fine. We can quit one job now, go to the next job, but we do understand the importance of having an income. So I think after matric, that's when I knew that mom, dad, grandma, you've done everything that you can. The onus is now on me to take care of myself, to take care of you guys, and to try and build a much brighter future. So fast forward a couple of years later until now, what I'm doing right now is I'm in the media space. I love technology so much that I am training people with tech. I'm training people how to use Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and I'm training, government officials that this is how you use a PC. And since, the lockdown began, luckily for me, this wasn't a strategic move. It just so happened that I'm in the media space, that when the lockdown began, I had the infrastructure, the equipment to do a live stream like I'm doing right now. So it just came in handy, right? And I do feel like I'm lucky, but it also made me think that what if I was not in a position where I was ready to conduct live streaming or to train people online? If that was the case, I think my pivoting would have been much harder than it could have been. Sorry, it could have been. So right now, I'm here and I'm doing these live streams. I'm doing shows. I'm training people. I'm blessed. I'm really blessed because I also have people around me that I surround myself with that they open doors, and it's not because of certain individuals that I'm here right now, but I think it's a combination of all the little steps that I've been taking. So I'll give you a practical example. So I'm training people from government, people from like teachers and so on about Microsoft Teams, Word, Excel, OneDrive, you name it. And mind you, if anyone knows my story, there was a time when I was just so fixated. I was obsessed about technology as a whole. So every little video, when I would go to an internet cafe, I would be watching videos about OneDrive. I'd be watching videos about how to make your PC do somersaults and all of that stuff. So I was really, really that guy where every video that I was watching on YouTube, like if you were to take a look at my history, my video history back then, it was all about tech videos, right? So I had at the time I had not met the individuals that have provided this platform for me to work. But then when I did, and when they said, "Hey, I do training," and I asked, "What kind of training do you do?" She says, "Microsoft products and so on." I said, "Oh, cool. I'd like to work with you." She said, "Okay, cool." Obviously, she had to vet if I am capable of that. And luckily, I've got, I don't know, maybe even 5 or more years under my belt of experience fixing PCs, you know, looking at the latest softwares and so on, Word, Excel. So when we met, it was just synergy. I was ready for that opportunity. So I think in life, you somewhat build the track that you want to run on in future. So if you think of it as a track, as a oval shape, I think the first thing that you need to do is that you get there and you find that it's just vegetation everywhere. So when you do your first lap is obviously going to be the hardest because you're trying to pave the way and you are trying to get rid of these the weed, the vegetation, and you're just carving out a track for you. By the time you come through to your second lap, obviously it's now easier for you to run around, right? So I think that's exactly what I did, but I didn't know at the time because it was just a passion. I didn't know that me educating myself, upskilling myself was gonna put me where I am today. Now, mind you, I'm not where I want to be yet. And I don't think excuse me. And I don't think I'll ever be where I want to be. Where I want to be. Sorry, guys, my English this morning. I'm not yet where I want to be, and I don't think I will ever arrive, right? And I think until the day I die, there's always something to strive towards. I think that's what makes me a human being, and that's God, gosh, today. This is what makes me a human being, and I also assume this is what is making you a human being, that you're always striving for something. Because if you think you've arrived, then there's nothing exciting. So there's a lot that I want to do. So I'm part of a program where we are testing out these small modular electronics where you can just plug them together. And I've built a weather station by myself. So I've managed to build a weather station, get some telemetry, the temperature, the lux, which is LUX, which means the light intensity, and so on and so on. So I've managed to do all of that. And mind you guys, YouTube is my friend, right? YouTube is my friend. And I loved YouTube even way before I had a smartphone. So Google at the time was my friend, but now I make use of YouTube a lot. So I don't have a formal tertiary qualification. My education goes goes up to matric. Sorry, let me just clear my throat. So right, so my education goes up to matric, and I think this is fine. Like my parents did all that they can. So I'm also urging other youth out there that it's not gonna be easy, guys. Like, trust me or ask me, is this journey easy? No, it's not. It's not. But day by day, every time you wake up, every morning, every investment that you put in, it is drawing you closer and closer to your dreams. Now, I had a dream of producing a streaming network. So Blinko essentially a streaming network. I want to be the Netflix of tomorrow. I want to be the Showmax of tomorrow, and also bring that Gussie vibe, also bring those untold stories from the location. So Blinko is running. It is there. And it's better than it was last month. It's better than it was yesterday. The fact that I'm here today live streaming, this is, for me, this is an achievement, because how we started, by the way, I used to shoot, oops, I used to shoot, yeah, I used to shoot most shows with this smartphone, right? Sorry, guys, 1 second. Right, so I used to shoot most shows with this smartphone, and this was before I had the camera, this one here, and this is a good camera, by the way. In fact, I think I'll add a link of one of the shows that I shot with this smartphone. It's an old phone, 2015, but it can shoot in 4K, so I like it. I like it. It can shoot in 4K. The quality is good. Even the coloring, like the color science, is very good. So things like you know when you start out in life, you don't just wake up and you're there. You start small, and I think we don't learn as human beings, and I'm including myself in that equation, that we just do not learn from everyday things that are around us, right? So I'm looking at my daughter, for example. There's small things that she's doing where she's just picking up day by day. Because just the other day, I was bobbing and weaving, and she was following me. And I'm like, oh, okay, so now she can recognize objects, right? She can fixate, or she can be fixed on an object, me, and if the object moves left, then her eyes will follow. If I move right, her eyes will follow. So there'll come a time where she can do all of these things at once, where she can talk, listen, um, dance, and do all of these things at once. But we don't start there. We should start off by doing the small little things that eventually will get us there. And I know it's tough. I know it's hard, because if you're looking left and right, you're seeing that your peers, people of the same age, are just miles ahead. I think we should just travel our own journey. Travel your own journey. Eventually, guys, you will reach a place where you start feeling like, oh yeah, no, I'm making it. Because on the other hand, I'm also learning how to program. So luckily with the internet, I'm learning how to program using C sharp. But I also create websites. Who taught me how to make websites? No one did. I did myself. And right now, I'm earning a living from making websites. People call me to create websites. Last year, end of last year, I had two gigs, live streaming gigs, right? Where they knew that I'm in the media space, and they asked that, can you live stream a funeral for us? I said, yeah, I can. I went there, I live streamed it. I even live streamed the burial at the burial site, and it went really, really well. Who taught me how to live stream? No one did. This is something I tinkered, I played around with, up until I came to a place where I'm like, yeah, no, sure, I can do this, right? I did a Soweto Film Festival. I was live streaming the event for 3 days. Yeah, right. So I haven't arrived. There's just so much things that I'm missing. But am I still marching on? Yes. Am I better than I was last year? Definitely, like far better. Like I've got better lights. I've got these nice lights that reflect different colors. I'm getting there day by day, right? So I just want to urge also the individuals that you're not really poor. There are people that are poor. Don't get me wrong. There are people that don't have opportunities. There are people that are unskilled, which is the next topic we're going to talk about briefly. There are people that are unskilled, and I feel for those individuals. And I do also feel that my my job over and above the studio that I'm running here is to upskill the next Banele so that they can take what I've done to the next level. I think if at the age of 17 I had met someone who's currently in my position, I think I would have gotten to this position way sooner than the journey that I had to take, right? So, for those that are not impoverished, you might be poor, I get that, but there is something that you can do. There is something that you can do, and I think this is a mindset thing because two people could be looking at the same object. One person could see scraps, another person could see money because they can take whatever scraps and they can create artwork. They can take whatever scraps, they can take it to the recycling center, right? So all of these, excuse me, so all of these things, when they come together, they create you as a human being. And if you are able to spot opportunities, it's not because this is who you are. It's because you were trained to spot opportunities. It's because you're exposed. So if you don't know that plastic is worth X amount of money, if you take the same plastic and you weave it and create a mat, then you won't be able to see that opportunity. Because if a person sees a pile of plastic, they're just thinking it's dirt, but to someone else, this is their gold, right? So I think opportunities are there, but we just need to start with training our mindsets to see it. Now, there's a lot of industries out there. I'm not saying you should also be in the tech industry or the media industry. This just so happens to be the industry that I'm in. Even if I wasn't paid, even if I'm not making money. In fact, I wasn't making money for the longest time doing this. I wasn't, but the little money that I got from the side hustles that I would do, I would invest in equipment and so on. And I'm still going to do that. I'm still going to choose to buy a camera worth X amount of money and then sleep with bread only. I'll still make those decisions because this is something that I love. Also, it feels good. It feels good. The day that I can have a multicam setup where I can just, instantly just press a button and switch between camera 1, camera 3, and so on. Up until that day comes, when I do get money, I'll still choose to invest in a camera. I'll still choose to invest in a better microphone. Right now I'm using a Samsung microphone, dynamic mic, sounds good. But there are other better microphones where I'd like to plug this microphone to a preamp and then let it run through a graphic equalizer and then a compressor, right? So I think combined those things should set me back like 30,000. The preamp, the equalizer, as well as the compressor hardware. It should set me back about 30,000. But anyway, I think I'm digressing. But I guess the point that I'm trying to relay across is that as human beings, there are people that are really, really underprivileged. They are. And yeah, like I really feel for them because the way the world is moving, if you are not educated, and by educated, I do not mean schooling, I don't mean academics. Okay, if you're not streetwise, if you're not educated, then you are in trouble. Because even education alone, there are people with degrees, diplomas that are unemployed. So what I'm saying is, even people with diplomas, even people with formal education, they are in trouble also because it's not the only way for them to earn a living. People are earning a living from doing the most craziest things out there, right? So if you're not educated, if you're not streetwise, if you can't spot opportunities, it's not too late. You can learn how to spot opportunities. You can learn how to see something from a distance and be able to capitalize on it. So for me, personally, I'm going to invest more in live streaming because television as it stands right now, people still watch TV, but there are content creators out there, right, where people choose to follow them. So like I told you, I recently started with, what do you call this thing? TikTok, right? And with TikTok, I found myself scrolling through the live streams. Yeah, some of them are just having a conversation, but there are some individuals where I feel like, wow, these people are really making an impact because when you take a look at the kind of topics that they talk about, the audience retention that they get from these live streams, it's incredible. It's incredible. It's something that I'm also striving towards, because I think I've got the whole technical aspect on lockdown, but I'm also need to improve on my presenting skills, right? So I'll make a lot of mistakes. I'll feel like I'm dumb. I'll also feel like, I can't even speak English. I'll probably feel like that, but I'll still march on. I'll still make these bloops and still march on. So, you can learn how to spot opportunities. The only thing you need to do is just to be exposed. Because once you're exposed to something, that's when you realize that, oh, snap, it's possible. And I think if people saw my setup right now, they'd be like, oh, dude, you've got a camera connected to a PC. Okay, cool. You're running a mixer, a microphone through a mixer, and you've got internet. So is that all that you need to live stream? Like, yeah, that's it. They're like, oh, snap, I can do this. So if you're not exposed, if you don't know that it is possible, then you'll probably remain thinking that, it's not possible. So I'm saying, guys, to those that are not previously disadvantaged, I also think I was previously disadvantaged, but not that much. Not that much. I mean, we've got smartphones. We know what's happening around the world. Instead of, wasting all of that data on TikTok or other platforms, and if you cannot afford it, then rather expose yourself to other things, right? Just so that you know that it's possible. So I'm also thinking for the breakfast show, I've got ideas in my mind where I want it to be like this. I want it to be a multicam. I need multiple people in studio. It's like a normal radio show, but then on video, right? So up until that day, I think each and every single day, I will wake up, I'll come here, and I'll stream, and then little by little, eventually I will get there. So I also want to urge people to look at ways of upskilling. There's different ways of doing that. One way is obviously, first things first, you need to be exposed. You need to know that there is an industry, that there is a world out there. Because once you are exposed and you are participating in that industry, it is at that point that you can start innovating, right? So what I'm doing right now, I'm just copying other people. I'm not creative. I am a creative, don't get me wrong, but I'm just looking at what other people have been doing and I'm just copying. That's all that I'm doing. Nothing special. I just copy, 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 copy. Eventually, I'll reach a stage where I'm like, okay, so I've been doing this for so long, so I think let me add a little bit of innovation, right? Where I start adding my own personality, start giving it flavor and flair, and then I'll be seen as an industry leader because I came up with something different. But we don't start off like that. I think even Beethoven or any musician, you start off by copying other people's songs. Even when you're learning how to play, you first need to learn how, the piano works, the chords and everything. And then you start off playing other people's songs. And then eventually you start composing your own, right? That's how it works, at least for me. But I don't think this is the end. In fact, I feel like I'm inclined to talk about motivation, not for the sake of just purely becoming a motivational speaker. I think I'm far from that. But I think I want to tell my brothers and sisters out there that, look, guys, there is hope, but it's not easy. That's what I'm going to say. There is hope. I think anyone can build themselves to a level where they choose. Anyone can build themselves, but it is up to you to make sure that you do exactly that, right? So yeah, I'm gonna have maybe, let's say, Monday motivations, and I'm still planning for the show, but luckily we can take calls, we can receive calls, even video calls, even have up to 3 people, and still live stream that. But I'm super excited, guys. In fact, I don't want to talk about what's happening right now. I think I'll leave it on that positive note where I just say, hey, you can be whatever it is that you want to be, but please know that it's not easy. Please know that each and every single morning you might not want to wake up, but you have to. Because the day that you stop choosing to wake up, the day that you stop choosing to make that little silent prayer that God give me the strength, just know that it's game over for you. right? And some on the left hand side, on the right hand side, people will still keep on marching. So I think on my end, I just want to say thank you guys. Really appreciate it. And yeah, I'll just tell people that Breakfast with Lyric Banele, it's on every single day. And I think I'm going to change the time from 6 to 8 a.m. But we'll see how that goes. So again, I'll see you guys. I'll see you. Stay blessed.